It started as a quiet morning in a suburban neighborhood, the kind of place where people wave politely but keep their real opinions hidden behind perfectly trimmed hedges. The Robinson family had lived there for 3 years. Marcus, a hard-working IT consultant, and his wife, Lieutenant Commander Angela Robinson, a dedicated U.S. Navy officer, had chosen this community because of its good schools, safe streets, and promise of peace. Their 2 children, 8-year-old Jordan and 5-year-old Maya, loved riding their bikes along the cul-de-sac, greeting neighbors with bright smiles. But lately, the smiles hadn't been returned. Subtle glances, whispered conversations, and cold shoulders told the Robinsons that something was changing. And then, one morning, a letter appeared in their mailbox that would shake their world. The letter came on crisp white paper, the logo of the Homeowners Association stamped at the top. It was written in stiff, formal language, but the message was crystal clear: the Robinson family had 30 days to vacate their home. According to the HOA, they had violated multiple community guidelines, including landscaping rules, parking regulations, and creating a disruptive presence in the neighborhood. Marcus read it twice, his hands trembling. Disruptive presence. Their lawn was immaculate, their driveway spotless, and their home painted within the approved color palette. They had paid every fee, followed every guideline. There was no reason for this. Unless, of course, the reason wasn't written on paper. Marcus showed the letter to Angela when she returned from her overnight shift at the naval base. Her eyes narrowed as she scanned the words. She had faced enemy forces overseas, endured grueling training, and commanded sailors in life or death missions. But something about this quiet, cowardly attack, infuriated her more than she expected. She knew what was happening. They weren't being targeted for their grass or their driveway. They were being targeted because of who they were. A black family in a neighborhood that liked to pretend it was colorblind until it wasn't. The next HOA meeting was scheduled for Thursday night. Marcus suggested they talk to a lawyer first, but Angela shook her head. No, she said firmly. We show up. We look them in the eye. And we remind them exactly who they're dealing with. Marcus knew that look. It was the same look she wore before a mission, calm, focused, unstoppable. Thursday evening, the Robinsons arrived at the clubhouse. Angela wore her navy dress uniform, every ribbon and metal polished to a mirror shine. The room fell silent the moment they entered. The HOA board members, a collection of middle-aged homeowners who had probably never served a day in their lives, shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Angela stood tall, her posture perfect, and addressed the room with a voice that carried the authority of someone who had commanded troops at sea. My name is Lieutenant Commander Angela Robinson, she began. The family and I have lived in this community for 3 years. We have followed every rule, paid every fee, and contributed positively to this neighborhood. Yet we received a letter demanding we vacate our home. I am here to ask, on what grounds? The board president, a man named Charles with a forced smile and nervous eyes, cleared his throat. Mrs. Robinson, it's not personal. There have been complaints. Complaints about what? Angela interrupted, her tone sharp but controlled. Our lawn, our cars, or is it about the color of our skin? Gasps rippled through the room. A few neighbors looked down at their laps. Others shifted uncomfortably in their chairs. Charles stammered, That's not what this is about. Angela stepped closer. I serve this country. I protect the rights of every citizen in this room, including those who would try to take my home from me. I've stood on the deck of a Navy destroyer in international waters to ensure freedom for people I'll never meet. And you think you can scare my family with a letter? You think you can hide behind made-up rules and vague complaints? Not today. The tension in the room was electric. One by one, neighbors began to speak up. A young couple in the back stood and said they had never seen the Robinsons violate a single guideline. An elderly woman added that the so-called complaints were nothing but gossip. Even a few board members looked uneasy. Angela's presence, her words, her uniform, everything about her radiated strength and truth. The board president's face turned red as he fumbled with his papers. We may need to revisit this matter, he muttered. Angela didn't flinch. You will not revisit it. You will rescind the letter. And you will do it tonight. Because if you don't, I will take this to the highest authorities. I will contact the Navy's legal department, the State Housing Commission, and every media outlet that values justice. And I will win. Because my family's right to live here is not up for debate. Silence hung over the room. Then, slowly, the board members nodded. The letter would be rescinded. The matter would be dropped. Angela thanked the neighbors who had spoken up, then turned to Marcus and gave him a small, knowing smile. The fight was over before it even began. As they walked back to their car, Marcus looked at his wife with pride. "You were incredible," he said. Angela shrugged, her eyes softening. "This uniform isn't just for show," she replied. "It's a reminder, to them and to us, that we belong anywhere we choose to be." Word of the confrontation spread quickly through the neighborhood. The Robinsons noticed a change almost immediately. Neighbors who had once avoided eye contact now waved when they passed. Some even apologized for not speaking up sooner. And while Angela didn't need their approval, she knew something important had shifted. Sometimes, all it takes is one person standing firm to expose the truth and force a community to look at itself in the mirror. Weeks later, the Robinsons received another letter from the HOA. But this one was different. It wasn't a complaint or a threat. It was a formal apology, signed by every board member. Angela read it, smiled faintly, and tucked it away in a drawer. She didn't need their words to validate her family's place in the neighborhood. They had earned it long ago, through their character, their service, and their refusal to be pushed aside. The Robinsons still live in that house today. Jordan and Maya still ride their bikes down the same street, their laughter echoing off the tidy homes. And every time Angela steps outside in her uniform, she knows the message is clear. No letter, no board, and no prejudice will ever dictate where her family belongs. Because they belong everywhere.